Jared asked me to come here tonight and tell you a little bit about why I joined the cryptocurrency space and what I've seen since I've been there. So this is my Twitter handle and Coinsquare's Twitter handle. If you want to tweet at us and tag it to FintechTO, that would be great. So just a little bit about my background. Jared touched upon some of it. So I started out at Manulife Financial in the insurance space. Spent about 4 years there, 3 of which I was in university, and the 4th after I graduated. And I very quickly realized this wasn't for me. Too big of a company. That's when I joined not-for-profit. Like Jared said, that's where I got my sense of community, and I really enjoyed it, but I wanted to go into business. So Ace Tech was the perfect combination. I had the privilege of working with over 100 of Toronto's tech companies and really getting to know their CEOs and leadership. I did that for about 3 years, and then it was time to move on, but I still wanted to work with lots of different companies, which is why I joined CrowdMatrix. I got to work on the raises of Zoom.ai, they've spoken at an event here, Homigo, and a bunch of great companies. But then in August, the CEO of Coinsquare reached out to me and said, you should join the cryptocurrency space. He sent me a couple business plans and said, hey, we need entrepreneurial people, come help us launch one of these divisions. And it was scary. I should tell you what Coinsquare is. Coinsquare is the place where you would come to buy, sell, trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital currencies. So I decided to join. I think it's a really exciting opportunity, and I think Coinsquare specifically is going to create careers for a lot of people. So a little bit about when I joined. I joined on September 7th. I was the 11th employee. At the time, there was about 300 to 500 people signing up a day to our platform. Bitcoin was sitting at just over 5,400. These are all Canadian dollars. The average price of Ethereum was just under 400. There was a lot of more negative things going on. China was banning ICOs. They were starting to go into their exchange offices and shut the exchanges down. Kik's ICO Kin, they actually spoke at the last FintechTO. Because of regulations in the OSC, Canadians weren't allowed to invest. The SEC in the US, they started laying charges against people doing ICOs. There were some positive things happening. RBC, they decided to get into the blockchain space. They were exploring using the technology to do payments between Canada and the US. And one of the most famous things of all happened. This guy, Jamie Dimon, he said that Bitcoin was going to blow up and that it was a fraud. But you don't have to listen to him, because you can look at who's buying this. You know, it started with your cryptographers, your engineers, then people in Silicon Valley and the tech elite started to buy. Then you had your risk investors, high net worth, it's the same people that are investing in startups. But now we're seeing everyone investing. Family offices are starting to get into it. Everyone is buying on our platform, from a 25-year-old to your grandmother. It's really interesting to see who's in this space. And next is going to be the big institutional money. We've seen that futures contracts launched in December. There's over 100 crypto hedge funds now trading. The Canada Pension Plan has over 100 people looking at this daily. There's $100 billion of money in the US waiting to get into the space. And people are looking at custodial services and how we can service these institutional investors. And the market cap has gone in the last 2 years from 7 billion to over 800 billion. When we used this slide in a presentation at the beginning of December, it was under 400 billion. So it's grown big, and it's grown really quickly. So 2 months in, Coinsquare grew by 30 employees. We now had 40. We were getting 1,500 users a day. Our backlog was so big that we actually turned off marketing. But it didn't even affect the growth. It just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we just kept hiring and bringing in temps. And even then, it was hard to keep up with customer demand. Bitcoin almost 4x'd. The average price of Ethereum was just under double. And we were starting to see adoption in Asia. Despite China having banned ICOs, there's rumors flying that they were creating their own cryptocurrency. Taiwan announced that they were starting to believe in digital currencies. Singapore was regulating ICOs and saying that they weren't going to regulate cryptocurrency. And Hollywood started jumping on board. Paris Hilton was endorsing ICOs. The Big Bang Theory had an episode where they were mining Bitcoin. Grey's Anatomy had an episode where they were being held hostage for Bitcoin. It just started to be everywhere. Europe was saying that they think the future could be digital currency. In Kazakhstan, they announced that they were going to have their own fiat-backed digital currency. Jamie Dimon, he still remained highly skeptical in December, but his language got a little bit softer. 2017 was the year that the altcoin blew up. There's now over 1,400 altcoins, which is 65% of the market cap of digital assets. Over 30 of them are unicorns. In 2017 alone, $6.8 billion was raised. And these 5 logos you see here, those were all over $100 million. And digital currencies have become a new asset class. People like them because of the really low correlation with other assets in the market. So now we have 80 employees. That's about 40 new employees since the beginning of December. Bitcoin has corrected a little bit, but Ethereum is more than double. Futures have now launched, and digital currency is a mainstream topic. One of my coworkers at Coinsquare told me that since she started, she's been screenshotting every single friend who's asked her about digital currency, and in 2 months, she has 63 screenshots. Her mom used to ask her how she is. Now she just asks her about the price of Ethereum. Every Uber driver I take is talking to me about digital currency. You hear people walking down the street talking about it. I have to ask my friends if we can talk about something else. It's just a hot, hot topic. Norm Kelly wants the government to accept it. Even Kodak, which is one of the most obsolete companies, is launching their own coin. But what they're doing is actually really smart. Their blockchain is going to track people's photographs so they actually get paid and can keep rights to it. Facebook, there's rumors that they might launch currencies on Messenger, and Hydro-Quebec is actually running a campaign to attract mining into the space. We're going to see a lot of exciting things in 2018. Transaction times, we're going to see a lot of coins come out that can improve transaction times. You're going to see the communities of miners working on lowering the transaction times of coins that already exist. Energy consumption, same thing. Going to see people working on getting the energy consumption down. Continued mass adoption. There's a big Globe and Mail billboard around town, if anyone's seen it, that says, the future is changing, so are we, and all they have is a picture of Bitcoin in the background, which really has nothing to do with what they're doing. But everyone's getting on board. Regulation, I think you'll see regulation come out worldwide, also possibly in Canada. As we talked about, the institutional money will come in. ICOs will develop. Ethereum, which is a Canada digital currency, you guys know it. They announced just this week that they're working on a platform for ICOs where the people who invest in the ICO will actually get to vote about how and when the money is used, which will make ICOs safer. Canada, top destination for mining. I think we'll see fiat digital currencies come out. Digital currency payments are going to be more widely accepted. You're going to see everyone trying to get a piece of the action, even this guy. He now regrets calling Bitcoin a fraud. And that's it. Thank you.
Questions?
So Coinsquare is growing pretty quickly, but in comparison to Asian exchanges, its fees are still relatively high. Is there any long-term ideas to reduce that, or are you looking at primarily people that buy Bitcoin and altcoins and just hold them?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're looking at people who are going to buy and hold,
Okay.
but we haven't really had any problems with our fees, so we don't have any current plans to reduce them.
So cryptocurrency is very volatile right now. Do you have any ideas on how people are going to address that fact as far as reducing the volatility of the cryptocurrencies?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. What I will say is it did go down recently, and last year when it went down, we did see a bit of a slow in people buying. This time, we actually saw a bit of an increase. So I think that's a good sign.
So with the exception of speculative investing and some illicit activities, is anything actually driving the value of these currencies? Anything at all fundamental?
There's supply and demand. People are willing to pay. I mean, you're walking away from me. Oh, you're staying in the room. Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I don't really have a good answer for that question, but people are willing to pay, and that's what gives it value.
What would you say are the most promising altcoins out there, and what are you most worried about derailing the Bitcoin value?
I cannot give my opinion on altcoins. I'm not allowed. I'm not even sure if I can give my opinion on what will derail value. I'm looking to, can I give an opinion on that? I'm looking at Lewis. No, I can't. Sorry.
I'm right here. Sorry. Yeah. We've seen one of your US competitor being entangled in a kind of a scandal of having employees buying Bitcoins and altcoins that were launched on the platform. How do you manage this kind of issues?
It's a good question. So we're just putting policies in place so that that doesn't happen to us. We are putting policies in place the same way a bank would or any organization that trades.
Hey, so my question has more to do with just the scaling of the business itself. Doubling a company headcount inside of a month and a half, that's got to be a wild ride. I was just wondering if you could maybe talk through some of the lessons you learned doubling headcount in the scope of a month and a half.
Sure, it really is a wild ride. So there's a lot of fast-growing companies, but hypergrowth is nothing like that. So I was telling someone earlier that I was sick the first week of January, but I worked 12-hour days because you don't have a choice in the best way possible. That's not meant as a complaint. You know, we just have all hands on deck, hiring and bringing people in, and the biggest thing that makes it work for us is that we've hired self-starters. So we just hire people that can read a job description or even just let us verbally tell them a job description and can hit the ground running and can figure it out. But what we've done more recently is we've hired an amazing team of C-level executives who have been able to come in and now guide us and help us and build that business out and put more processes in place. But it's exciting. We're hiring still like crazy if anyone wants to join us. There's a bunch of people in the back from Coinsquare we'd love to talk to you.
Last question.
Oh, okay. Do you guys right now or plan to at any time pay your employees in cryptocurrency?
No, we don't. But there are a lot of companies doing that.